Well, welcome to part 4 of fixing Phyllis. I have just, for some reason, the engine seemed a lot easier to lift this time, and that's probably because I'm sort of fresh-faced today, and I managed to get it in, no problem at all. The only obstruction was the rear brake pedal, because the engine actually sits above the rear brake pedal, so I was trying to wiggle it about and effing and blinding, but we managed to get the bottom bolt in. Bottom bolt of Jesus. And then that allowed me to, when it was all lined up, lift the cylinder head up, pop the top bolt in. I haven't bolted any of those in. I'm going to have to undo that bolt and swing the footrest out of the way, which we sort of know we've got to do to get the top bolt in. But yes, I've left the gauze filter out, which goes in there, because I need to clean it with some carb clean and get those forbidden glitters off. And then I'm about ready to, what I'm going to do is kick it over a few times, and kick it over in gear a few times, and just make sure that it's doing what it should be doing, basically. They're all tight. I've just been sort of going over bolts. The casing on the other side had settled a little bit, so I just had to nip a few hand gestures, nip a few of those up. I've got to get that broken stud out, which I think is going to be a chisel job, and I can't find my effing chisel. But for the purposes of kicking the bastard over and see if it just selects all the gears, it is sort of good to go. So I am going to go now, and I will bring you back when I have advanced further along the road of fuckery.
12 seconds later.
Oh, the fun of the fair, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't going into gear, and I think I know why. I had a mystery washer left over, and I looked through the schematics and stuff like that, and I think it's from the gear change pawl, that the little rotary wheel which do flabs the dibbery flubbery. So yes, I'm going to have to get the other side cover off, which was a sod to get back on again, but it looks like it's going to have to get off. The easy way to do it is just drop the engine again, slap it on the floor here, whip that cover off, and just double check the alignment of the gearbox and stuff. I did get it exactly like the service manual shows. So it's funny because it's in neutral now, and I've just hooked the chain up, and it spins the output shaft lovely and what have you. So what I've got to do now is take that top bolt out. I'll drop the motor, I'll flip it down, a little 8mm socket, whoop, we'll whip that cover off, and I will examine it. Of course, I could have checked the gear change on the bench, but I didn't, because I'm an absolute.
A few moments later.
Days, boys and girls, I think I found where that bit went, even though I can't see it on a schematic as of yet. It sits under there, but without it there was like too much free play, and it is actually turning the gear selector coggy thing, but the batteries ran out on the impact, and I need to get the clutch off to get the pawl arm back on. So yes, I shall definitely do that. Ooh, does that washer go there? Oh, it fits. Or does it go there? Oh, that fits too. Another mystery to solve. So yes. Oh well, never mind. Bloody hell! Come on, Jim, do it right the first time, etc.
Day 2.
Well, hello, folks. It's Saturday morning, and the lump is about ready to go back in. I had an issue. It went back in fine. Everything was good. But then it kicked over, got lovely compression. You're just going to have to believe me. And then the bugger wouldn't go in gear. Which was quite frustrating, because it means I've buggered something up. And sure enough, what I'd missed out, there was too much slop in the gear lever. And I'd missed out super pointing device. This little roller here, it was still sitting in my tray, so that's took all the slop up. This is the gear, your gear linkage. Your gears are in the cases. But this is the selector mechanism, and what it is your gear shaft comes right up from the other side, right up here, and this is an interesting thing. This is a sheet with 3 balls on it, and what that does, that gives you your your click, your rotation, your click, that gives you your feel basically. And then what that does, that acts upon, that locks on a pin here, that acts upon a very similar shaped thing to that sandwiches the plate on the other side. And when that turns, that activates this bit here, of which this controls the distance it goes and stuff. That's actually bolted to your gear drum. That's a star with all studs on. What happens is, when you work it, this activates and it pushes that star around. Now I thought the part had come off this, and where this sits is up the top here. It sits in there, and that presses against the star and sort of stops it over rotating. It goes click and then comes back down, click and then comes back down. And basically it's one of the things that holds it in gear, if I understand it correctly, which I probably don't. Anyway, more garble about the torquage of the internals. This is timed up. All the balance gears and stuff are all timed up. And then on here we've got our clutch there with its 2 washers, and that meshes with this is the primary clutch gear that goes on this shaft here, and then the primary clutch, which is there, sits on top, and they're held together by that snap ring. If you can see it, you see the groove right at the top. Well, the clutch has one as well, and then you get a pair of circlip pliers and you spread that ring, and then you join the 2 up. It's a very, very strong ring, just like my bottom. So basically what I'm going to do now is put my little widget in. Don't forget the washer, and crack on. Basically, crack on. There's parts everywhere because I dug into it yesterday. There's parts everywhere, so I do have the manual just there, the orange thing. I have a spare set of gaskets, which was rather fortunate, and I am wearing the coveralls of overconfidence. Yes, or the overalls of optimism, because you do get quite dirty doing this. You get all the shit and grime. So I am going to carry on. Yes, I am, I'm going to carry on. Oh, this, by the way, lives in the casing, and that's where does that act upon? Oh, that acts on the end of either that or I think it's that, and it just holds everything steady by the looks of it. And it was a proper sod to relocate. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. It's all going back together. Well, most of the things I've got to put back on I've laid out nicely. This is all now almost a bare case again. And what I've got to do is I've got to fit my little arm, which is fucked off into the ether. Oh no, there it is. There. Onto there. I've got to clean out some bits of gasket, look. Because getting the cases apart, I mullered the gasket. But like I say, I've got a spare, so it's not a great big deal, is it? That cover is an utter bastard to get on and off, and it really shouldn't be, because in the manual it just says pull the cover off. Well, I've had to have wedges in there, I've wowed at it with hammers, the fucking lot, so something somewhere wasn't lining up right, because all these little divots all sit in a recess, their own recess in there. So what I'm going to do, before I put everything back in, hand gestures, is I'm just going to dry fit the gasket, make sure there's no gasket material and stuff left in there, and take it from there. But I will put you on the tripod, and it'll probably be a time lapse. Yes. This arming, you've got to make sure that the foot of the spring is there, which is why you put it on before the selector star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Because you put that in, and then when you drop that star in, you can thumb that over, and it's all nice and easy, baby. Yes. So that's the first bit that goes in. Then the star goes in. Bolt the star in. It has locating pins. Bolt that in. Then I'll set you up on the tripod. Yeah, beverage, coffee. Anyway, that's all bolted back on. I haven't put any of these wire guides or anything on yet, because what I'm going to do is get the engine in, then figure out the wire routing, because it's not correct at the minute, and I don't want any tension or anything on the wires, anything pulling, anything like that. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to adjust the clutch, which I think is, that's your adjuster there, which acts on an arm inside this cover, and I think you back it on till it seats, and then you take it off about quarter turn and lock it with a lock nut. I'm not sure, so I have the book of factory lies in front of me, and I'm going to just have a look in there how to adjust the clutch, because I've only ever done it once and I can't remember how I did it, but I think it was something like that. You put it in, back it off a bit, and you nippy, and then the engine can go in. And I think what we'll do then is wire it up. I need to wire it up. Am I going to put the exhaust on before I try and start it? Yeah, I could do. I mean, it's not a difficult bike to disassemble and all that lot, if you get it right and follow the service manual and don't be impatient like a fat oaf. So I'm going to crack on with that. The battery's about to die in the camera, so I'm going to put it on charge for a bit as well.
One eternity later.
Gentlemen, it was hung up on the brake lever. The rear brake pedal, I should say. Come on then. Come on. Right, got to undo this to get this bolt in. There we go, look. Simple as that. And then, Jimmy, don't forget to tighten that up, will you? No, one won't. I've got to tighten the swing arm bolt up as well. Right, so, engine in. And I suppose I could put the kickstart on, and that's in gear. Just make sure everything's working. I've also I've got to get this broken bolt out as well, which I think I'm going to chisel. But I can actually, I can kick the engine over and I can give it. I can put, start putting the intake on and stuff. That is a minor job. I can test run the bike and stuff like that. So yes, not a bad engine to get in. The only thing is it hangs up on the brake pedal the other side, which you could have took off. But I suspect it's part of the main stand. I'm not sure, really not sure. But anyway, everything else is back together, so I'm just going to double check some bolts. And then I will bring you back when I've plugged the wiring in and, put nuts the other side of those big bolts. Yes, idiot. Just hope if you get the right socket, Jim Bob. Nice. The gearbox fucking works! I can't believe it! No, I'm gonna come! Well folks, we are nearly there. Most of the wiring is back on. I'm just sort of rearranging it so there's no stress on the plugs and what have you. I'm just figuring out where the side stand switch wiring goes. And then I'm almost ready to plug the ECU in and just kick it over, see what happens. I have got to put some oil in it first, of course. Yes. But it's not going bad. Well folks, we are really close now. A couple of bolts to tighten up on the footrest. I'm not too bothered about them at the minute. But it is almost time to see if she'll fire. I'm getting oil up to the cylinder head. That's good. But I'm thinking, I forget how long it's been since Phyllis has ran. It's months. We know it's months. But without looking at my diary, I can't suss out how long she's been parked, and she's got the same fuel in it. I don't think that fuel's any good anymore, and I don't think she'll fire off on that fuel. So if I get time this weekend, I'll go and get a bit of fresh fuel. While the air filter's in and stuff, it's not worth trying to spray brake cleaner or anything in it to see if it'll pop off. I want it to chuffy on its own. So I'm thinking my battery charges gave me a bit of a false reading as well, because I could swear blind I'd fully charged this battery, but it doesn't appear to be doing a lot. So I don't know. I shall investigate. But she's all in, she's all wired up. The pump is pumping, and what have you. So I don't know just yet. I really don't know. I'll have to do some further investigation.
A3.
Well, folks, it's Sunday morning. The wind's getting up a bit, so I've had to bungee my door. Although that's not stopping it from going. Anyway, what I'm doing, I've just been down the garage. I've 3/4 filled that jerry can with super unleaded, and it's cost me 30 quid. But what I want to do is, I couldn't remember when Phyllis went pop, and I think it was towards the end of summer last year, because I'd just done 300 mile on a Triumph. Beautiful day, lovely day. Did 300 mile on a Triumph, got on Phyllis, and obviously it went pop about a mile down the road from work, and I think that was at the end of summer, and I thought I drained the fuel, but I haven't, and I can be fairly confident that it will not fire up on that stuff, because that is just going to be like water. There's going to be no burnable shite left in that, so I've got the siphon, the Python out, and I'm going to try and get as much of that out as I can into the small can, because Phyllis doesn't even hold a gallon, and they're like, what are they, two gallon? I don't know, but anyway, what's in there will fit in there, and then what I might do is chuck that in the car, because when it mixes it'll be alright, and then fill her with super and see what she does. I've got the battery on charge, because I did have a go at starting it yesterday and I soon flattened the battery, but I did get a little chuff out of it, a little chuff. Now there's every possibility, because this is E10 fuel, probably it was probably whatever I'd put in it, even if it's E5 it doesn't matter. There's every possibility there could be, sticky injector, whatever. It's only like a little top hat design at the end. It just goes and lets fuel in. It's not like a spray. I'm going to do that again because I enjoyed it. Spray. So I'm going to get on with draining fuel out of that. You don't need to see that. I'm going to put some Fresholeum fuel in it, put her on a centre stand, see what she does. She is all wired up. I did suspect I'd probably not wired it up, and a fuse in there had become adrift. It's about the only fuse on the whole thing, so I put that back, and we got electrics. I can't show you that I've got electrics because the battery is not installed. That's on charge. So Jim, stop waffling, get on with it, get the fuel out, you fat git. Today's beverage, coffee. They used to call me Glen Fry Jim. The heat is on, and it needs to be, because it's not that warm this morning. Stand by, folks. Great camera work. Well, folks, the petroleum is in, and there is no use beating around the bush. I cannot delay the moment any longer. It's time to see if all that work done to the engine is worth it. I know I've got compression, I can hear it when I kick it over. I've tested for spark, we have spark. I don't think the plug that was in it that came with the head, I don't think that was any good. That wasn't doing the sparkulation stuff. So I've just quickly bolted up the front of the exhaust. The back's hanging in the breeze, and well, there's no other thing for it. No other thing for it. So without further ado, I've put a terminal on the starter motor. I'm going to see if she starts. Let's put you up on the shelf of possible misery. I think it needs to be said, folks, that I am a mechanical genius. Genius. To be honest with you, folks, an engine like this, the trickiest bits are the timing and putting the gearbox on. If you can do that, if you can build an Airfix, 2 instructions, and get yourself a workshop manual, doesn't matter what motorbike it is, right, because an engine is an engine. It's suck, squeeze, bang, blow. There's going to be something that acts on a valve train, whether that be a belt, a chain, whatever, a gear drive, Honda for example. Don't be afraid of having a go, because if you do spectacularly screw it up, there's always a bike shop to help, which is probably what you're trying to avoid to pay in the first place. I did this because I sort of know it was in my capabilities. Some of you may argue otherwise, but I knew that fuel was bad, which is why I only got a chuff out of it yesterday. Only about a litre and a half came out. The rest of the fuel is going in spurt, because I rode spurt home the other day and he was well in the red, because people were queuing at the petrol station and I couldn't be asked to be a pump womble. So yeah, I've got to get that broken bolt out, but I am calling this episode done. Will she run? Yes, but I don't want to run her any longer without that cover on, because as you can see, it oils the top end. Yeah, well, if you could see, if you didn't stand in the light, you can see oil is starting to get to the top end, so everywhere's lubricated. The barrel liner, everything was oiled before it went back together. I dropped some lube on the valve train, some lube in the gearbox. All that now would be wet and perfect. The only thing I've got to watch for now is an oil leak, because we've had the cases apart and we've high lamarred the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a chisel, try and get that bolt out. There's no point filming that bit. It's dull, and I'll probably swear a lot, and I'll probably bash another finger or another couple of fingers. Did I have to mention that I nearly broke 2 fingers getting that together? I think I was torquing up one of the crank nuts, and it's like 50 Newton meters, and on the bench without the engine fully supported, 50 Newton meters is a lot of grunt, and the torque wrench slipped, and I was holding on to another one of the shafts to get some purchase, and the torque wrench smashed against both my fingers, and it hurt incredibly a lot, and my fingers still hurt incredibly a lot now, nearly a week later. So it wouldn't go into gear because Fat Idiot left the roller out. I have just gone through the gears. When the bike is stationary, I can't get it past first because you need the action on the gearbox. Somebody span the wheel, it would go in, but the gear change feels the same as it did. Nothing's gone bang clatter pop, but I'm going to be very, very careful because I've got new rings, new piston. I'm going to take it steady for 100 miles, drop the oil and filter, put some new oil in, a new filter, and I'll probably take that to 500 miles, drop it again, and at each stage we will be looking for the forbidden glitter. But we're done for now, kids. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Just please click a like. Doesn't matter if you're passing through, just click a like because it really does help the algorithm. Oh, silver sleeves. I could get Olive going because I've got fresh fuel because I completely drained her as much as I could, and she's going to be in the same situation. Whatever little drag of fuel is left in there, I did try and run it out the carbs as well. It just isn't going to work. But ideally for the MOT I need a tyre. A little bit of warpage was found on the front disc on the last MOT. Ideally I want to replace that. I mean, I could. I'd have to measure it, but that would probably go through an MOT. But I've got a spurt on the road. I think the next thing to do, I'm going to double check all the chassis bolts on this. Because obviously I've had swing arm bolt loose and stuff. Make sure they're tight. Obviously get that one done. Put it back together, and then seriously think about taking it for an MOT because she's only like 25 quid a year to tax. So for 50 quid you're on the road, because let me get this right, Spurt and this are insured together, and Spurt and this together are 50 quid less than that on its own, because but basically I forgot the Aprilia's insurance was due well before Spurts. They're always insured. I think next year what I'm going to do is, when it comes to renewal time, I'm going to get them all three on one policy, because it's going to be a very, very extremely rare event that two of them are out together. Extremely rare. So yeah, that's where we're going, Jim. You're waffling. You've already said goodbye 10 minutes ago.